Breezy Sloth, thank you so much for being on the Woo Report.
Thank you so much for having me. First of all, this is my first podcast, so
I can't believe
obsessed.
You're a professional.
I know. I'm always in front of a microphone, whether it be at my job or on stage, but this is my first podcast microphone. So Laura, thank you so much for having me.
Well, I'm obsessed with this because we met at a rave.
We met at a rave in a abandoned warehouse. I'm not sure. And then I was coming here. I was like, am I getting murdered?
Well, I love it. I was like, we met at a rave. I started following you on Instagram and I messaged you like, please come to my home and shoot a podcast.
It's so funny because like I obviously followed you back as you do when you're like in person. And the next day I was scrolling and I was like, who is this woman? And I was like, oh my God, yes. And then I started looking at your stuff and I was like, okay, I know exactly who this is.
Oh my gosh, shout out Allie for being like, you guys Allie. Need to hang out. Obsessed. Well, you have become one of my favorite follows.
Oh my gosh, thank you. That means so much to me.
Well, you're a local influencer.
Yes.
You're teaching me about the city I live in.
Yes.
In the best way.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, but your posts are magnetic.
Wow.
You are one of the most authentic people I see online. And it's just like, I can't stop watching. I'm like, oh my, I'm obsessed with her.
That makes me so happy because like, we'll get into this obviously, but there's so much self-doubt that comes with putting yourself out there online and really just going for it and being like, is this stupid? Am I going to lose followers? Like, do people even care? So hearing you say that just vindicates me and it makes me feel like I'm doing something right.
No, it's so good. I mean, the post that you did after the rave, I watched probably 75 times.
No, it's so good. It's those quick hits and it encapsulates everything perfectly.
It's so good. It's so good. So then recently you did a post and I'm going to read it because I don't want to butcher it, but you wrote on your post, confidence is not if they like me. It's I'm okay and I know who I am if they don't. And then you went on to caption it, if I can do one thing with my platform, it's teach young women, or any woman for that matter, confidence. Because if you don't love yourself, who will?
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh.
I know.
Because self-love is one of those things that, honestly, I don't know that we talk about it enough.
You need it more than you need air and food. I genuinely believe that.
It's like tippy top of like on my spiritual journey was one of the lessons I had to learn. And I think it's so hard. We were talking about this just before, but there's so much noise on the outside world. And then there's so much, it creates so much noise in our inside world.
Yeah.
And if we are berating ourselves, which is something that I used to do a lot before I got run over by a car.
Yeah.
And not being gentle and kind and loving ourselves, then like, we are lost.
We are lost. Yeah. And I just, I've always been this way. I've always had this like tremendous amount of self-confidence. And I have gone through so many different versions of myself. And they're all different, but the consistency behind it was confidence. I've been 80 pounds heavier and the most confident ever. And now I've lost a bunch of weight and I'm like, I'm still so confident. And I look at photos of myself and I'm like, I never ever once saw myself that way because I never reflected the self-hatred that like a lot of people do or the outside noise. Like I never looked at myself that way. So being able to see it from an outside perspective is like, it's vindicating to me because it's like you never once doubted yourself or your beauty or your fashion sense or any of the things. Although my weight was obviously something that I struggled with, no doubt, I never let it stop me from doing certain things, wearing certain clothes, being who I am. And I think that's so awesome. And I'm so much healthier now and I'm so much happier now. But I think that's the delicate balance of, you see a lot of people online, no matter what size they are and whether they lose weight or gain weight, their followers become really obsessed about their weight. And they're like, well, I thought you were a mouthpiece for my community, our plus size community, or I thought you were body positive and now you're a traitor and you're going off and you're losing a bunch of weight. Remy Bader, I don't know if you follow her, but she was the voice of the plus size community and she got surgery and she lost maybe like 140 pounds and everyone's up in arms. And what I say to that is it is tricky and it's hard to like lose what you think is like your online bestie, someone you can relate to. But if you genuinely care about that person, it won't matter the size of their body. If you genuinely love them for who they are, it shouldn't matter. But I think that's the hard look that these people who are following need to look in the mirror and say, do I actually like them as a person, or do I just like what they were saying because I related to it? And that's okay if that's the case, but that's something that I think comes from within.
So let's get inside. Let's go within. Like, were you always like this? You were saying there's many different versions of yourself. Like, were you ever at a place where you weren't sure? Or I'm curious, like, how did you become this version?
Yeah. So from a young age, I've always been me. Like, I've always been Breezy. My government name's Brianna. My nickname is Breezy. My parents gave me that nickname at birth, and it just fits ever so perfectly.
I love your parents already.
No, like literally, my mom was a teacher for 35 years. She had a student named Brianna. She went by Breezy, and she's like, that's what I'm naming my daughter. Little did she know it would be the most fitting name for me ever. But I've always been a very like bubbly, carefree, funny, like just always down for a good time person. I just, my motto is like the more the merrier, and no stress, more life. You know what I mean? There's no need to worry about what are we wearing to this event, who's going to be there, and when should I show up, and I can't find parking. Just, it's fine. Like, we're fine. And I have a lot of people in my life like that. And that's just called anxiety, obviously. And I obviously struggle with anxiety too. I think we all do it in some degree. But I think that what I try to be for people is that safe space of like, it's all going to work out. It always does. Like, whether it's we only have 3 concert tickets and a 4th person's coming, or, you know, we only invited 5 people, but the 6th person wants to join too. Like, we're going to figure it out. It's going to be fine. And I think the people that work themselves up, like it's robbing their happiness. Honestly, it really is. But I mean, in high school, like I've always been like heavier. I've always struggled with eating. And I think as I grew up and learned more about like what exactly that was, it was an eating disorder. And I've struggled with that for over a decade. And I've found myself in different areas of my life where like I was bulimic, and that was in high school because that was the one thing I could control when it came to my body. And then I went away to college and I was anorexic with a very severe exercise addiction, like 4 to 5 hours a day, like working out, eating salad and ice for a snack, like not healthy. I lost weight. It was a horrible way to do it. And then as I got into my early 20s, I developed a really severe binge eating disorder. And that had a lot to do with like my mental health and the relationship that I was in and all of those things. But I sought out help, and I came very clean and open and honest with the people in my life, with my listeners, with my audience, with the people that needed to know, professionals. And I found myself in a group where it served my purpose for the purpose for the time. But when I really started to like come to and be like, I want to lose weight and I want to be healthier, because I think there's a difference between losing weight and being healthy and active. Like, I think the line gets blurred a little bit, because don't get me wrong, Laura, I always worked out. I always, like, 80 pounds heavier, I was running half marathons. You know, I was doing CrossFit. I was spinning 2 times a day. Like, I always loved working out, but it was the eating that was kind of my comfort blanket. I was filling a void. It got so bad to the point, this is where I reached out for help. I would open my eyes in the morning, and before my feet even touched the ground, what am I eating today? What am I going to eat today? How am I going to get it? Or I get it, and then I'm like, well, what am I going to eat next? It was like debilitating. And I reached out for help. I was in this binge eating like support group for like maybe 2 years, 3 at most. And I said to them, I said, guys, I really want to lose weight and I want to go off and reach my full potential of my health journey. And they basically said, like, then this isn't the group for you. And I was like, okay, well, that's disheartening given the fact that you are sitting here supporting me, but only at one certain size. Like, I can't go and like better myself because you won't be here to support me for whatever reason. I'm not sure, nor do I care to find out. But at that moment, it was gut wrenching because I was like, these are my people. Like, of course. And they weren't.
Wow.
And honestly, like, hearing that motivated me even more, of course.
Fuel
as it
your
always
fire.
does.
Yes. Tell me no. Tell me you're not going to be there.
I love the word no. I absolutely love it. I'm obsessed with it because I always find a way to turn that no into a yes. In any sense of the form. Like, there's always a way that goes back to me hanging out with my friends. We're going to figure it out. We're going to find a way.
Yeah.
There's always a loophole.
Yeah.
And I'm going to figure it out. And that might make me a huge pain in the ass, but I'm innovative.
Yes.
And I'm creative. And I'm going to figure it the fuck out.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, I imagine that whole journey was a roller coaster.
Crazy.
And maybe
I'm still on it, by the way.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll meet where we are now. Over the past year and a half, I'll say, I've lost 80 pounds with the help of my gym community that I'm obsessed with, Burn Boot Camp in Pittsburgh, shout out. But go there every day, 5 days a week. 5 days a week, I go there once a day. And I have been on a GLP-1 that's helped me a lot too. So listen, I've done the diets. I've done obviously with the struggles and the squiggly line that you're like, where am I going? But with the help of this medication, it basically like wiped away my eating disorder.
Wow.
And like, you don't think about eating disorders to have a medication to help fix that because it's so psychological. Obviously there's medication for everything, but it really silenced what are you eating for dinner? What are you eating right now? What are you going to eat later? That's not a thing anymore for me.
Oh, that's amazing.
And I make choices that fuel me instead of fill my void.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about like what you inside your head, how you reach for your self-love. Like if those voices are silenced now, maybe it is, you're saying you're reaching for things that are nourishing you now. Mm-hmm. So what does it sound like in your head? Like now, what are you thinking when you wake up in the morning?
Now what I'm thinking is, oh my gosh, it's too damn early. Respectfully.
Yes. What time do you get up for your morning show?
I get up at like 4:30. So feet are on the ground, hit the ground running. I'm driving to work. I'm like one eye open. But I wake up every morning with a passion for what I do. I'm in front of a microphone. I'm a radio host. I don't even know if we said that. Yeah. But it's like, it's a really interesting fact about me, but it's also like the least interesting thing about me because I'm going to be me with a microphone, with a phone, with one person in front of me.
Yeah.
I stay consistent with who I am. But I wake up and I'm like, wow, I'm so lucky that I get to go to work and do something that I love because I just like simply can't say that for everybody. And I get to help people, even though being on the radio, like I'm not directly interacting with you and I can't like touch you and feel you and be like, it's going to be okay. Just hearing my voice and taking comfort in knowing like, hey, I'm not alone, or she feels just like me, or I don't know Breezy, I've never met her, but I know we would be best friends. That's one of my biggest like rewards and compliments when listeners come up to me and they're like, I just feel like we'd be best friends. That's amazing because that's exactly the vibe that I'm going for. Whether it's you having a bad morning, you just spilled your coffee and I just ripped a one-liner and now you're laughing and you feel at ease, or I'm talking about conversations like my eating disorder or health concerns, or when you have something going on with you and you just go to WebMD and you're like, something's really wrong. Yeah. It's the health anxiety. And I just recently talked about that, and you're not alone when you feel that way. And people do feel so alone and so isolated. So the one thing that I feel is like empathy for people, and not just like empathy, but more of like a sense of connection to these people that I've never met. And that's what I strive to do every single day. I feel like there's not enough people in this world that are kind, like genuinely, not even for like an ulterior motive or like I need something from you, just like smiling at a guy next to me at a stoplight or waving at a woman in the grocery store. Like it's literally, it takes zero effort and it could change someone's whole day.
Well, it is palpable that you love what you do. Like,
Yeah.
we can all feel it. We can feel it through your social media. We can feel it through the radio. Like, you love being able to show up for people. And that, when I think about it, like in the spiritual sense, we all want to be like pulling down the highest version of ourselves every day. And what does that mean to you? That means loving what you're doing. That means showing up for others.
Supporting people around me.
Smiling at the grocery store clerk and
doing the best I can personally and professionally. So like whether I'm giving it my all at Burn or, you know, thinking about new ideas for the show, or like I'm really dialed in on social media right now. So you giving me that compliment was insane.
Gosh. It's so good.
It's a really hard balance because it's like I'm getting like obsessive. And I think when it came to like the eating disorders, like I have a very addictive personality, right? Like I need to be like all in on something and I need to be obsessed. And like it used to be relationships and then it was food and now it's social media and work. And like I'm trying to figure that out through therapy and doing the work and all of the things. But it's hard. Those voices are still there of like, this is stupid. You're posting too much. You're going to lose followers. Why aren't you gaining followers? People, you know what I mean? Like whatever the case may be.
Does that come like more so at night? I feel like the darkness, does it like come in when you're like laying in bed at night?
Yeah, it'll come at night and it'll come in the morning. And like during the day, it's like whatever. There's not much you can do about it during the day. Why do we feel that way? It's like, well, we'll deal with that tomorrow or, you know, later on tonight. But
No,
for sure.
I feel that too. And I feel like that's common. And that's why I bring it up because like the imposter syndrome is like, and like, all the darkness is like trying to be like, no, why you? Why you? But no, why not me?
Correct. And also it's hard to compare yourself to others. Like there's such a delicate balance of having self-confidence while also comparing yourself to others and feeling like a failure. Like you're cool and you're doing all the things and everything's fine, but also the guy next to you is like doing 100 more things and way cooler than you and whatever the case may be and just went viral and like you suck, you know? But that it's just so delicate. And I think it's something like I'll be vulnerable. Like it's something I'm still trying to figure out, although I have so much confidence on certain areas of my life. That is something I still struggle with too.
I want to get into a little bit about woo-woo.
Yeah, I know. I'm so not woo-woo. So I'm like, oh my God, woo-woo, let's go.
Well, I want to hear like what you're, so here's my thoughts because when I hear your journey, you have, it's been a roller coaster.
Yeah.
And you've been through some shit. And by going through all of the shit, you are forced to work on yourself. And that is, that's a hero's journey.
Yeah.
That is the journey.
Yeah.
That's a journey. And that's what happens when you are like, and I'll just speak for myself. Like I got run over by a car and I was kind of forced to do some self-work. I was literally, the universe was like, nope, you need to stop what you're doing. You need to sit with yourself.
Nothing else matters when your health goes. When your body's not functioning.
Yes.
Like there's literally nothing in the world that matters.
Exactly.
Than getting better and healing.
Yes.
And being okay.
Yes. And so much of that physical work is also mental work.
Yeah.
It's like it's a mental game too. The spiritual journey, even if you're not into the woo-woo, like you're still doing work, you're still putting in the work to heal yourself. You're healing yourself. And we all can heal ourselves.
Yeah.
And, you know, some people, you know, will look to a higher power. They'll look to God or Allah or Krishna or the universe or source or nature.
Right.
Or just something else other than themselves. So I'm curious, like when you were digging deep, was there anything else? Like, did you grow up? Did you have a spiritual belief system? Did your parents like raise you into a certain religion?
Yeah. So I grew up Catholic. I was baptized, first communion, confirmed. And my mom was like very big on that. It wasn't like we have to go to church and we will be going to church. Like, I feel like I was only going to church for like those big events and like Easter. My mom is like pretty religious. She is in a Bible study. Like she does all of that stuff. And whenever I am feeling this immense amount of anxiety about like death, like I guess we'll just get into it. Like I am so fucking afraid of dying. Like to the point where for like 6 months straight, I think it was like last summer, I'm not sure when exactly it was, a while back, I'd wake up every single morning and say, today's the day I'm going to die. And I would live like that with just like this crazy amount of anxiety around death. And I'd be sobbing to my mom and I'm like, what happens when we die? Like just losing my mind, losing it. And I went on anxiety medicine and everything's fine. And I'm like, but those thoughts still creep in and it freaks me the fuck out. Like, legitimately. And I think that was like my driving force of coming on this podcast, because I was like, maybe I should like chat with her about some of those fears, honestly. Yeah.
Well, let's tell me, like, what do you think happens when we die? That's something I'm asking every single person on this podcast. That's the question.
I know. So to ease my own anxiety, I've tried to research everything about death to make myself feel better about it. I watched this show on Netflix that had different scenarios of people when they die, whether that be they saw this like gorgeous space and light and blah, 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 or they were reincarnated into somebody else.
Yes.
I don't know what I want.
That series got a little cuckoo by the end there. I know exactly what you're talking about. I forget what it was called. It was like Overcoming Death or something.
Yeah, like something Facing Death or something. Yeah. But what I think or hope is that we all are in one space, whether that be in the clouds or in nature or just like orbits, I'm not sure, but we're all together. Truthfully, one big happy hour. That's what I want. That's what I think. That's what I want. One big happy hour, one big ice cream social. Yeah. We're all hanging. We're meeting new people. We're saying hi to old people. I'm saying hi to Gramps. Yeah. We're chilling. Yeah. And then we can fly around. We can check in on people. Yeah. We're running errands. Yeah. We're going to the stores that we love. Yeah. Like,
I mean, you nailed it. You nailed it. Mine is like the physical part, but everything else.
Yeah.
I think that's exactly what it is.
Interesting.
It's a homecoming. We're coming home. We're coming home. This is actually the hard part. Yeah. Being on Earth.
Right.
And then whatever. We all believe whatever we want.
Sure.
My belief is that we slip through this veil. And the veil is what I slipped through when I got run over by a car. And insane. I told you that I like saw myself laying there. So when you experience something, because we could talk about it all day, but when you experience that, it's expansive.
Yeah.
And when you feel expansive, so it's like we can talk about it all day, and it's like it's not going to hit the same. It's just like, we can talk about how
it's a believe it when you see it type of thing.
It's like when you experience it, which like no, I hope nobody else gets run over by a car.
Right,
right. But it has like taken away my fear of dying, because
you like did.
I did. Like I think I did for a second, or I mean, you call it a near-death experience, but
correct.
But after studying this, because now I've been kind of in this world, I've been talking to people who had gone through similar experiences. Yeah. They all come back expanded. No one comes back and is like, that sucked.
I'm the same person.
I'm the same. Yeah. It changes you.
Yeah. So I'm like super into like, obviously figuring out what happens, right? So I've gone to mediums. Yes. I've gone to Long Island medium.
Tell me about those experiences.
So I went to Long Island medium live twice.
Okay.
And like you sit there in the audience and you're like, she'll never pick me, so it doesn't matter. Which, I mean, she didn't pick me. And I also don't have like a ton of experience with like deceased loved ones. My grandpa's passed. Both of my grandpas are passed. One I met, one died before I was born when my mom was 10. And then my grandma, who I never got to meet, is deceased too. So it's not like I have a ton of people in my life that I'm like longing to talk to and for, which I hope I don't. Like, let's put that out there. Like, I hope that I don't find myself in that situation anytime soon. But I feel like it's just such a bizarre experience. And like when you're in that room talking to the Long Island medium, or hearing her talk, I should say, she's hitting on these points of these people's lives that are so incredibly niche that only they would know about.
Yeah.
But it's like so crazy because you're sitting there and she's like, he's right here. And it's like, what do you fucking mean he's right here? Where is he? What are you talking about? Like it like blows my mind. And like,
Yeah.
even just the whole idea, like death is one thing, but creation is a whole nother. So when I was going through my like psychiatric break about death and I was so fearful of dying, my best friend got pregnant and she told me she was pregnant and I'm so happy and we're all happy. And then 30 minutes later, I'm sobbing and I'm like, I don't understand. Like, what do you mean you're pregnant? Like, there's a baby inside of you. Like, where's the soul coming from? Like, so this soul's just like appearing. Like, what the I couldn't. And I still really can't. I can't wrap my head. So this baby's going to come out of you and it's going to be a full person and it's going to have a full soul. Where, how, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
It is. And I'm like sobbing and I'm crying and I'm, cause I think like, when I get really frustrated, like most people, I cry. And I'm just like, I can't identify these emotions because I can't figure it the fuck out because it doesn't make any sense to me. And I can't make sense of it. So I can't make sense of it to somebody else.
It doesn't make sense of it to anybody. Also, like our human brains can't even grasp what's like going on here. But
no.
Let's get granular for a second about like 7th grade science.
Okay.
We're all
Which I probably failed, by the way.
Well, that's okay. But you learned about like atoms and like neutrons and electrons and protons, right?
Sure.
So this couch is like feels physical to us, but when you like zoom all the way in the quantum field, like it's actually like atoms and molecules.
Yeah.
And so are we.
Right.
So we're all made of energy, and like the law of energy is like energy cannot be destroyed. It just evolves.
Okay.
It changes. So if we're energy, like the thing that of me that slipped out, like if my body's no longer here, but I was still here.
Yeah.
So that's the part like that's
a crazy perspective.
But also, after like digging in, I think that is our soul, and I think that soul then goes on into, you know, the ether back home, and then when we choose to, we pop back down into another body, into another baby. Oh yeah, I'm into past lives too. I know. Which is also like literally my dad's a hypnotherapist and he was doing past life regressions with my best friend 10 years ago. And I was like, you guys are out of your goddamn minds.
Period.
Yeah. So like, this is new. This is like a new thing that I'm into, but let's just talk about how maybe that could ease your fear of death.
Correct.
This is not the end.
Correct.
This is just a new beginning.
Yeah.
Isn't that fun to think about? Like,
yeah.
And then someone who feels so connected to other people.
Right.
When you meet someone sometimes and you're like, oh my God, no, this person and we like just met, but there's something here.
I've known you my whole life.
That feels deeper.
Mm-hmm.
It feels deeper. And you're just like, how do you explain that? It doesn't happen with everybody, but it happens with some people. And it's like, then there's a world, well, maybe we did this life before. Maybe we did life before together.
Yeah.
And like and it's just like, so I've done a couple past life regressions too.
Sure.
Which is a whole nother thing. And like,
that's part 2 of the podcast.
It's part 2. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
But we can stay here in the physical because I'm curious, like when you went to a medium, did you get any messages or for yourself? Like you said, you went to like the big show. But
So I went to a medium out in Hilton. I was probably like a junior in college. I had come home from the weekend to see this man. Mm-hmm. And my friend was like, you know, I know someone who went to him and she highly recommends. And so me, my best friend, and our other friend drove up to Hilton. And I'm from Canandaigua. So we're getting out of Canandaigua and I get this email from him. And it's like, I'm really not feeling well. I'm going to have to cancel. And I said, I didn't see that email. And I just kept driving. Like, I'm going to tell him I didn't see that email because like, what's he going to do?
Because you don't accept no.
No, not at all. So we get there And I like felt like I was on an episode of Catfish. I was like lingering in the windows and I was like, Steven, like, what's up, bro? And he goes, did you not get my email? And I was like, nope, didn't see it. He goes, I'm not really feeling well. I'm like, Steven, we just drove an hour and 10 minutes. Like, I came home from Oswego for this. Like, what do you mean you're not feeling well? He actually lets us in the house. He does the reading with us. It ended up being 3 hours.
Oh my gosh.
He reveals to us that he has cancer and he's going through chemo and stuff. That's why he's not feeling up to doing it, which I obviously felt bad about.
Yeah.
But he says to us, I was a skydiver. I hit the ground at 110 miles an hour. I was in a coma for a year and a half.
This is him.
This is him.
Yeah.
And I was laying there and someone came up to me with like the Matrix, like a blue and a red ball and was like, choose wisely. And I think obviously one was go with the man or the other one was take this gift and pass it on to everybody on earth. So he obviously took that. But it was very interesting, what came about. Nothing really specific to me, but for example, he didn't know anyone's name besides me. And I just said Breezy. It's not like, and I wasn't on the radio or nobody knew who I was still in college. Like
right.
There's nothing you can really look up for that because I know a lot of people are like, well, you can just look you up. Well, no. And he goes, who's Taylor? And I said, you mean my friend Taylor that's sitting right here next to me? He goes, I feel you being launched off of like a motorcycle or something. And that's how her mom actually passed, was she died in a motorcycle accident being launched. So like having that like connection like that, oh my God, I literally have chills just talking about that. But like, there's just simply no way that you can get that.
So then what do you make of it?
Correct. What do you make of it, right?
What do you make of it?
What do I make of it? I think that's fucking insane, first of all. And then I think, well, he has to know something. Somebody has to be telling him something, someone, something, some orbit, some soul.
Yeah.
And I took comfort in that slightly, although it was very strange.
Yeah. Although it's like also retelling a traumatic event that happened but still.
Yeah. And then like for my, sorry, I don't mean to, like,
go. You
for my other best friend, Maddie, like he was asked her if she had a miscarriage. And again, we were like literally children. And she was like, no. And he goes, well, there's like a baby by your feet, which normally means like miscarriage or whatever. He goes, does anyone close to you? And she was like, my sister. So that is so weird too, because like when you think of, miscarriages or complications at birth and a soul that young dying, it's like still attached to what they thought they were going to be with, which is bizarre. Right?
Yeah. The souls attaching around babies is something that I have been told, like an intuitive told me that a soul attaches at like 6 months in the womb. That's what someone told me. I don't know what to make of it.
So my question to that is like, my follow-up to that is, this is now what I'm envisioning now that we talked about the ice cream social.
Yeah.
Are all of these souls up there or wherever they may be, and they reach a point up there where they're like, I'm ready to go back down, like I'm going to do my thing. Are they just like fighting each other like sperm to get into this one body? Like, you know what
I don't think it's volatile. I do think it's planned.
Not fighting, but like,
right.
Yeah.
No, but
right.
I do think it's planned. I think it's like
like assigned.
So I think it's like, it goes back to our purpose. Like, why are we here? Right.
Right.
We're here to pull that highest version down of ourselves, I think. We're here to learn to love ourselves.
Yeah.
To be kind, to help each other, to be able to surrender to something bigger than ourselves. And when we die, we review our life in a non-judgmental way. And we're like, could have done that better. My next life. We lose you on the soul switching.
Yes, I guess my other question is like, yes, you're doing all this self-reflection up there and
Yeah.
you're figuring it out and you're
Yeah.
like, I'm going to do this differently. But like, at what point are you factory reset, wiped clean?
Yeah.
And you don't, it's not like I'm over here like, I was a British man in my past life. You know what I mean? Like, at what point do you just cut it and that's the end of that and you're completely wiped clean of those memories and those lessons? Like, how make it make sense? You know what I mean? Like, that's insane.
It's insanity because we can't see it, and so it's so hard to grasp. It's like when you're saying you're at the medium and the medium saying like, well, he's sitting right here, the Long Island medium, like, well, your grandpa's sitting right here. And
where there's no seats,
right.
What are you talking about?
right. But she's obviously sensing something, and no, it's not a person sitting there, but it's like an energetic field potentially that we cannot see, but that she can sense,
right?
Because we're all energy. But doesn't it give you a little bit of comfort? You're like, if these people can sense something
that I've never met, I don't know. Yeah.
Without their five senses. It's like something. Have you listened to the telepathy tapes?
Mm-mm.
Oh, well, that's crazy too. It's about nonverbal autistic kids.
Oh my God.
Nonverbal autistic kids.
Yeah. It's interesting that you bring that up because that's what my girlfriend, my partner, she works with people with developmental disabilities, and she's an angel, a saint, like so much patience, so much compassion, kindness. And I'm just like, that takes a special type of human to be dealing with individuals that can't talk or communicate or do much of anything for themselves. They're fully reliant on you, your coworkers, whatever the case may be. But we were talking the other day, talking about babies and all of the things. And she was like, I didn't know what like true love was until I started working in that field and like having just like so much love and care and compassion for another human being. She's like, I never once in my life felt that until that. And she's like, I can't wait for you to feel that when you have a baby, we have a baby, because it's like, it's different. It's like a different level of life. And I think, everybody can obviously do whatever it is that they want. We all make choices. But when people are like, I'm not having kids, that blows my mind because I can't wrap my head around that in the sense of like, so you don't want to create something just like you or have something to look back on or come visit and come see. Like, that's crazy to me. That's how I look at it.
Well, I feel like your girlfriend's feeling like that because she's like, her heart has expanded. It's like, it's another form of expansion though. And like, you don't think that your heart can expand because you're like, oh, I love my life. I love everything. I love people, but like you don't. And I think that happens when you become a mom. Like, your heart just like expands and you're just like, holy shit.
I never knew a love like this because it wasn't within me. Like there was no room for it before, but we made room for it when I gave birth to this child or I adopted this child or whatever the case may be.
I'm going to link telepathy tapes in the show notes. And also I would love for your partner to listen to it because I'm so curious if she's had any of these experiences because these kids are reading your mind point blank, like able to read their parents' mind, able to like touch their mom when their mom is like looking at a card and says like, the card number is 86 and like they don't see it, but they are tapping into something to be able to see it.
Insane.
It's insane. And they also meet at this place called The Hill, which is in their minds. So like a 10-year-old is like laying in his bed with pillows on top of him and having a conversation with a 16-year-old across the country on the hill. And like this 10-year-old's mom gets a call from the other kid's mom that says, my kid, this is going to sound crazy, but my kid just gave me your number and says that they're friends. They're speaking it through their minds. Like, what do you make of it? Like, what do you make of it? What do you make of it? And you're just like, well, obviously, yeah. It's like collective consciousness. It's like we're all we're all connected, and there's something bigger than us that we can't describe and we can't see.
Yeah.
So your mom's Catholic, but do you believe in God, or do you believe in something else, or you're not sure? And there's no wrong answers here.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think I obviously was raised Catholic, and I do feel like I believe in God. I don't even know. I mean, I go back and forth with this answer a lot. It's not that I don't believe in God.
Yeah.
It's just that I'm like, I think that religion in any form has been watered down a lot by politics and this and that, and I believe this because I practice this, and I just like think that it's really lost its true meaning along the way.
Amen, sister.
It's just like kind of crazy when you think about it.
Yeah.
And it kind of like pushes me away from things because it's like it makes religion seem so black and white. If you're Christian, you need to believe this, and if you're Catholic, you have to do it like this. And it's just like, oh my God, stop. Yeah. I do. And my mom always, whenever I'm having an issue or like anxiety, my mom will always send me like those like cringy TikTok reels, and it's like, or Instagram reels, and it's like, leave it to God and whatever the case. And I'm like, okay, Mom, whatever. But she has taught me to take comfort in knowing that God has it all figured out. I don't know how bought in I am on that. Mm-hmm, that's okay. But if my mom says it, like, I'm obviously going to believe my mom. You know what I mean? Like, I'm obviously going to believe my mom. She's the smartest person I know. Yeah. So, I know it only took me 30 years to say that, but yeah.
Oh, she's so proud of you now, though.
She's like clipping this. She's like, yeah, we're gonna have that on a loop going around.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah. I mean, that's so special though, that you know, grew up in a household where, I mean, to bring it back to the beginning, you have been celebrated to be yourself.
Yeah.
Like, she allowed you, she like really just gave you space to be you. And even if, you know, you didn't believe or you buy into the Catholic thing, like 100%, she's like still she's embodying it. So it's easier for you to be like, well, okay, like she's got something. There's something there. Yeah. I'm not fully bought in, but there's something there.
And it's hard because like my two best friends in the whole world are like uber Catholic, like went to church every Sunday. My one best friend went to Catholic school, and some of the things that they say, like Catholic guilt and I can't eat this, or some of that I'm just like, guys, let's just chill out for a second. That's the part that I'm like not totally bought into. Yeah. Because for me, it's like a sense of control, which I have an issue with control and people like controlling me. It's a sense of control that doesn't make sense. Yeah. There's just made up rules in the ether that you're like, and I have to follow or else something really bad's going to happen. It's like, you don't know that, just like you know that something good isn't going to happen. Yeah. Like, it's a 50-50 shot.
Yeah. Well, I feel like what I hear too is like, it doesn't sit well with you because it's super restrictive. You were saying that in the very beginning with how you live your life. You're like, oh no, if I don't like hearing no.
Right.
I don't like hearing no because, and I'm going to figure out a way around it. It doesn't have to be black or white. Like, there's gray area and there's a way around to figure out everything out because it's like, Valerie Maya, this intuitive that is a friend now, she says we're all like balls of light, and these restrictions, like some religions put on, are like rubber bands around the balls of light, and so they feel that way, like they feel restrictive. But if you take them off, then we're expansive,
right? Yeah.
And I think that you holding on to that idea and that belief is what makes you so confident and what makes you like able to fully love yourself, because what's not sitting with you is the 10 commandments, for example, like restrictive, like man, woman, that's restrictive, right? So it's like,
I'm like, oh, fuck that.
Exactly.
Yeah, fully.
But
and like that's another thing about like being gay and like having religion. There's just so many like random pieces of religion that like truly affect my day-to-day life that I'm like, I don't believe in that. And like, if I don't believe in that sector, does that mean I can't be Catholic altogether? Like, there's some people that will say absolutely, and then there's some people that are like, it's fluid, like you can do whatever you want. Like, it's just crazy that I feel like religion sometimes is used as a shield to be an asshole. Sorry, like there I said it, but like I really genuinely feel that way. And it's like, God wouldn't want you to do that. Like God wouldn't want you to be mean to people because he's telling you to be. What are you talking about? God's up there like, I'm chilling. Like, what are you like, chill. I never once said that. Like, what are you talking about?
Totally.
You know?
Yeah.
So
you see through it.
Yeah, I do.
So to bring it home, what advice would you give to someone who is like just having some trouble loving themselves? Like, what is the first step?
The first step to loving yourself and just like exuding nothing but confidence is doing things that make you happy. To hell with what everybody says, to hell what you should be doing or how you should be doing it or when you should be doing it. I think it takes one step. If that's finding a hobby that you like, if that's going a place that you like, if that's buying something that you like. I am so routine. I'm such a routine individual. Like I do the same things like every day, but those things make me so happy. So I'm not going to stop doing them and I'm not going to not talk about them. I tell everybody all of the things that I love. To the point where it like gets me in trouble, but I'm like, I don't care. Like you're not going to like silence me when my sole purpose of life and my job is to just talk. So doing something that you love every single day, whether that be finding a podcast that you love, whether that be going to a pond or a park or a workout class that you love, routine will bridge self-love because you're taking care of yourself. You're taking care of yourself. And although it might not feel like that or look like that at first, eventually you'll be like, this is self-love because I'm doing something that I genuinely like to do on my time with my own money. That's really it. And
it's so
and
good.
The other stuff will come. Yeah. It's like whether it be you're in a routine, and that's why it's so hard for like me to go on vacation and like let loose, and you know, whenever I'm on vacation, all I want to do is come home because I have fear that something bad is going to happen while I'm not home, and I'm like, what the fuck? But once I get back to that routine, I'm like, okay, I'm home, I can breathe. I'm going to burn. I'm going to get my shake at PLN. I'm going and doing all of the things that I literally love to do. Mm-hmm. So find that thing. And I think that a lot of people get lost and overwhelmed of like, well, I don't have a thing. Or like my girlfriend was a D1 softball player and she obviously doesn't play softball anymore. She's not in school. And she's like, I feel like athletes deal with this huge sense of self-identity that is completely lost after they get done with sports because all they did growing up into, you know, collegiate is this one thing. And then you graduate and you're like, so my life's literally over. It's like, it's not. You just need to find your new thing. And that's hard to do. It's hard to, because you have to be willing to put in the work and try new things and put yourself out there. And if you're not willing to do that, I can't really help you. That has to come from within. Mm-hmm. I can tell you all the advice in the world, but if you don't implement it, that's not my problem. I can't help you, you know? So
yeah. It's great advice. And if you really just sit back, it's actually not that hard. You're like, what do I want to do? And it's like checking in with yourself. It's checking in. And that little spark that comes, it's actually that thing that says, ooh, no, that excites you, that animates you. That's your intuition.
Like I'm a Taurus and my
husband is too.
I can never sit still. I can never I pack my schedule so tight that like I'm 5 minutes late to everything because I never want to be like waiting around. There's always something to do, but I'm also the laziest person you'll ever meet. I love rotting. I love bed rotting. Like I love sitting in my bed and watching TV and just not moving but I also burn myself out. So like I'll go for 5 days straight and then I'll need 1 day of just like full-fledged recovery. So it's definitely a delicate balance. And that is a form of self-love. I mean, too much of it can be a little depressive, obviously, but it's that balance that you have to find.
It's so good.
Yeah. I know.
And for some extra motivation, you can follow Breezy on Instagram.
Yes, you can follow me everywhere. All of the socials, Breezy on Air. I try to post things that others can relate to and just either feel motivated, get a laugh, or just be like, okay, I want to try that one thing. So, yeah.
You are a freaking delight.
Thank you so much.
It's so fun to chat with you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for being at that rave so I could be sitting on your couch a month later.
Allie, when's the next rave? That was so fun.
I know.
Can't wait to go back.
Thank you so much, Laura.
Yay, thank you. I hope you enjoyed that episode. For way more woo-woo, please follow and subscribe to the Woo Report podcast on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart, or wherever you love to listen. Never miss an episode of The Woo Report by joining the community at thewooreportpodcast.com. Thank you for liking, sharing, rating, and loving on this little slice of magic. I am so, so grateful you are here. Bye.